Hey guys, welcome back to Honey in the Rock. I'm Sophie and this is Reagan.
Hey guys.
So Reagan and I were parking lot duty at camp this summer and we were kind of unstoppable.
Oh yeah, we totally
Like,
were.
try to come at us. We'll park your car really good. Reagan, tell us where you're from, where you go to school, stuff like that.
Yeah, so I'm from the East Coast of North Carolina, around the Wilmington area, if you know where that is. And I go to school at NC State in Raleigh. Go Pack.
Go
I love
pack.
it there. It's great.
Good. Um, who is your rival?
Our
Is it
rivals,
Wayne?
UNC, like Chapel Hill Tar Heels.
Yes. Yes. Because so I have like a friend whose brother goes there, and then she goes to UNC Chapel. And I was like, wait, I feel like because they had three siblings and they go to Wake, Chapel Hill, in there, and I was like, which one is which? Okay, fine. Was that always where you wanted to go?
Yeah, so like, believe it or not, that's like the only college I really applied to that like I wanted to go. There was a couple that I was just like, let me do this for fun.
Right.
Fun fact, I applied to UNC and got hashtag rejected as valedictorian of my class. So I'm like, I didn't want to go
What
to
do you want from
Wayne.
me?
But yeah, no, I always kind of want to go to NC State. I just love the culture there and
Yeah,
the majors that they have are really great. So
yeah, that's so fun. And you're a nutrition major, right?
yes, and I also, as of spring semester, I'm also a psychology major.
Okay, look at there. That kind of goes together.
Yeah, a lot of my
Like,
classes double count, which is really sick.
yeah, I guess I wouldn't have thought that goes together, but it does go together. Um, like in the party at camp, Reagan was our camp nutritionist, and it was perfect because, well, this is not nutrition, but like we were doing like yoga in the parking lot,
Oh yeah, it was great.
waiting for buses to come. We would stretch. Like people probably thought we were crazy, and we kind of were, but we just were stretching it out in the parking lot. She
Yeah,
like made sure we would get our protein in, and it was necessary,
it was.
and it was fun. And now I'm like aware of what I'm eating, but in a good way.
Yeah, that's good.
Like it's not in like a oh crap. It's like a oh wait, I could eat this instead.
Yeah,
And it feels
yeah.
like a game.
A game. I
Yeah,
love it. You gotta make it fun.
I know. So that's fun. That's like right up your alley. Okay, you can share your testimony and you can start wherever you want to.
Yeah, okay. So, growing up, we always like went to church. Like I grew up in the church, but like we didn't have a like home church like a lot of people have. It was just kind of like a lot of church hopping week to week, just because like the churches in our area just never really had everything that our family needed, like between like kids programming and then like actual like service. So, I never really had that sort of stability. But I just like remember always having like a zeal for the Lord, like wanting to know more. Like I graduated from preschool and got this like kids adventure Bible. I'm sure like most kids have had it at some point, and I love that thing to death. Like the margins, like you can't even read in it now because they're so marked up. But like I like would read my Bible when I had it like any moment, and I just like that was really like my childhood was like me discovering for myself like more about what my faith looked like, even though I didn't really have a true like deep understanding and like wouldn't say that I like fully accepted Christ because I was just like searching at that point. In middle school, like I continued that. We didn't really have a church at the time, and I wasn't like plugged into a youth group. And so it was just like me, and I went through some like interesting friendships in that time too, where I had like some friends just be really hateful to me because of my beliefs and for making them feel a little convicted about the ways that they were living because I was just choosing to live different. And not that I was trying to be like condemning or judgmental, but they just felt that way because of the way that I lived. And so that was just a little difficult to walk through because in middle school you really value friendships, and I was just like, well, the only friends that I did have now decided that they don't want to be friends with me because of my faith, and so that was just my first taste of like what it looks like to face suffering
Right.
that we are told that we're going to face as Christ followers, and so. It didn't really discourage me. It was just a little frustrating at the time that like, you know, I lost the friends that I did have because of my beliefs. And walking into high school, that just like continued to be a thing. Like the friends that I did have left, um, like that were a part of that friend group that kind of like crumbled away, continued to like just like not talk to me anymore. And I mean, going into high school is a very changing time, and so like I figured that. But something that I've felt like personally is I'm very like steady and constant, and like finding that in a friend is very difficult. And so that's something that the Lord had to teach me a lot through. But um thankfully the story didn't end there. In my sophomore year was when COVID hit actually. And so um that time was just like nothing was going on, and the Lord just like put it on my heart to like read the Bible fully because I had been like in church for all of my life and like I'd never read the whole Bible. And so I went through the entire Bible that year, and like there's no way that like I could have been met other than like the Lord himself through his word. Because like I didn't have my parents as mentors. I didn't have mentors in the church. Like I didn't have friends that showed the love of Christ. And so it was really just like the Lord and his word that met me there that year that I was just in it daily. And he really showed me a lot about his character and himself and just like my need for him. And I'd say like that is the point that like I chose that like I was going to live my life for him. And like I continued to grow in him from there. Like my junior year, I remember I made it like a consistent daily routine, even like when it was difficult to do so. And even when like it wasn't like popular, like a thing that the people around me did. Um, and then I'd say like the true turning point was when I walked into my senior year of high school. It was like my sister had gone off to college and we were really close. And I was just like, I don't really have anybody to turn to this year. I'm just gonna try and like put my head down and like get through it. And the Lord just provided me with the most amazing friend, who I still love dearly and get to see today. And so we met the first week in my AP government class, and she was like just so sweet and kind. And she was like, "Hey, do you want to come to my youth group? I go here for youth." And I was like, "Sure, yeah, I'd love to." And I didn't know like what blessing that would be. And for that next year, I got poured into by everybody in that youth group. I got to see a glimpse of community in a way that like I'd never seen before, and like I truly got to like invest back into it in a way that like it poured into me. And between like my youth pastor, my small group leader, and just like all of the friends that I made there, like that was really like I guess the developing part of my like latter high school years was just like being in that environment and getting to experience the love of Christ like represented by people that were in front of me, not just like in his word. So, I also took the steps to get baptized that year, and just really got to like see what it looks like to live out my faith. But like there was still some strongholds. There were still like a lot of things that I had just neglected to surrender to the Lord. And he just continued revealing that to me as I walked into college, and um, just giving me more wisdom, more clarity in everything that I did. And something that like I prayed for years, like in middle and high school, was that like I would have a community of people I could rely on. Because like I said, like for years it was like I had like maybe one or two people that I could turn to. And like while that's not like bad, everybody wants like a solid community, and the Lord has been so kind to just like provide in abundance. Like when I look to my left and to my right when I'm at school, I'm like, wow, like I'm just so blessed to like be around these people and have them be to me what like I need them and also like want them to be. And so that has been like the biggest answered prayer. And also like getting to see my sister grow in her walk too. Because when I started to take my faith seriously my senior year, um, she just was like struggling in college. And so I was just like really feeling for her and knew that like the Lord would transform her story. But just didn't know if she was willing to accept that. And so I prayed for years, and it was 3 years later this past spring. She decided that she was going to give her life to Christ, and she got baptized. And just to get to see that too has just been so amazing, because
Yeah.
it's just a reminder to me that like the Lord always is listening, and like even when we think he's not moving, or even when we think he's done moving, like he's still there in our midst, like working on our behalf. And so like I could just like tell so many stories of his goodness, but just like him bringing me to a point where like I saw that I needed him more than I needed anything else in my life. And like he's always been that steady rock for me when like life has its ups and downs. But yeah, it's just been amazing. And like he's met me through college too, and just so many big ways through like giving the money I needed to pay for my classes at the very last minute through scholarships that like didn't exist. To like, I don't know, just being so kind to provide me a campus ministry that like keeps me in his word. And just like opening the doors for me to be in the degree program I am right now, when like walking into college I had pretty much no clue I knew what I was doing. So um yeah, he's just so kind and he's so good. And yeah.
Gosh, that's so good. And it's really sweet to like hear that and then to have watched you serve, like to do ministry alongside of you. And it was like my word, like it's just like it was like lovely to watch. Like the way that you would just like so humbly serve, and you were a dear friend to me, but then also just the way that you treasured what the Lord had given you was really sweet to watch. And then now to hear your story and be like, she is steady, and you were steady in the word, and you were steady with your character and your mood and like all these things that we need. um Now it's sweet to like get to hear like the deeper parts of your story of being like, this is where she came from, and this is how you relied on the Lord. And I think it's just so sweet that like you really met Jesus in his word, and that's enough.
Yeah.
And I feel like so often we try to make it more complicated than it actually is. Of like, okay, well, I need this, 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 and this to follow Jesus. And it's like you actually just need to admit your need.
Mm.
Um, and I think that's just like a beautiful picture of like he's enough, and his word is enough, and that is what we need. And then like he provides things like community, and he provides friendships, and he provides these other things that are really sweet in following him. But like what we need is just him, and we lack nothing apart from him. And so I think that timing is interesting of your story. It wasn't like, okay, well, here's a huge community and then you met Jesus. It was like Reagan and Jesus met.
Mm.
And then he provided these other things that were the desires of your heart, and good desires of friendships and community. Um, and I just think like so often I have the conversation of like, okay, well, like be praying for that community, but you need Jesus. Like, you don't need these friends, you need Jesus. And
Right.
these friends would be great. And friends that are going to push you to Jesus, we're called to do it together 100%. And we're called to run the race together, and we're not supposed to do it alone. Um, but our biggest need is Jesus. And so I think that's sweet. Um, that's how you met him, was just like falling in love with his word and then going from there. So that's so cool.
I know, right? He's so cool.
Yeah, I'm like, good work, God.
Yeah.
And then so we say like he like is just providing in abundance.
Mm.
Um, and I feel like so often I almost like forget the ways he's provided. So like what do you do to like be remembering how he's provided in abundance? Or like when we forget, what
Yeah.
pulls you back to that?
So like I just I try and like remind myself of like how he's like there's so many different lines of like worship songs and stuff that like he's never let me down, or like why would he feel now? Like there's just so many things that he does that like we aren't even like open to see.
Right.
And I have to like bring myself back to the present, and like you said, like to see his provision. Like just the simple fact that I get to like live in today is like a witness of his provision.
Right.
And even if it's not like this huge, like big thing that he did, or like you get to see the answered prayer, like 9 times out of 10, you're living in an answered prayer right now that you prayed like years ago or even yesterday. And like the fact that like I am going into like my junior year at college, like just like the fact that I get to be in college, like that's an answer to prayer. The fact that like I get to like live with my sister and my best friends in starting in like 3 weeks, like that's an answer to prayer. And just like everything that like I get to like hold like just here like this in the lifetime that I've been given, like he is faithful to provide that. And I'm just reminded of like his word that says like every good and perfect thing is like from him. And so like if I have anything good, if I have anything that's of worth in my life, like I have to remember that's from him. And so I guess like long story short, like with like the whole like provision thing, it's like I try and just like remember that like what I have right now is enough. And even if I don't get to see him like move in such big ways like I have before, like just the little ways that he's moved, like I should be honored and humbled to like get to witness. And I think it is cool too to like look back on the times that he has moved in such mighty ways, and just like remember that like I didn't have much faith during that time that he was going to provide, but like he still did, and he was kind to do that. And so if he did something like that, like when I couldn't see it, like if he provided like every dollar I needed to like get through my first year of college, like when I emailed like 10 different people and nobody had an answer, like they said all the scholarship money had already been like dispersed and like all this, and I'm on a tour bus on the way back from church camp, and like I get an email that like the last money that I needed was paid for. Like that's God. That's like no other source. And so just like little things like that that happen, I get to like think back on and be like, wow, like even when I didn't have it all figured out, like God did. And so he's going to provide for me when I need it, and even when I don't think that I need it.
Gosh, that's so good. You said that like so beautifully of like, and that's it. That's the whole point. And are we willing to look and see? And I think it's a gift that the Lord has given you eyes to see his goodness around him. And then when we don't, he so kindly reminds us to look up and see the gifts that are right in front of us. And I feel like even in hard seasons, it's easy to like just not see it. And then in good seasons, it's easy to grow numb to it.
Mm.
And so I think there's a really sweet balance of on these regular days looking to see um where Jesus is in the day, but then also like why you're there is only because of him. It's like, okay, well, what a gift it is that I have this community at school. Well, why I'm at the school in the first place is because the Lord provided the money that I needed to be here. Um, or just even like in family, like, okay, well, what a gift this is. It's like the whole reason I'm doing this is because of this, or I get to go on a run. Like, what a gift it is that I have breath in my lungs, that I'm able to do this. And so I think being willing to see Jesus in everything and being humble enough to know it's literally nothing we could do, and it's like I'm literally nothing without him. And I know every good and perfect thing comes from above. And so instead of trying to be selfish or just even like ignorant to the fact that it's around me, being aware, and something I feel like I've had to be praying a lot, um, just in this season I'm in, and like the honestly the last few seasons I'm in, is like, Lord, let me see. Like give me eyes to see you in everything. Because like sometimes it would just like go in the routine of school and work, and I would just be missing the little things that he was. Um, or just like hard seasons, good seasons, like all of it. I'm like, Lord, like just give me eyes to see. Because I want to see like who I need to love well, and I want to see people the way you see them, but I also want to see the gifts that you've put around me. And like, I want to notice the little flowers on the side of the road. And I want to notice when the sunset is the perfect color pink. And I want to notice when like these little things around me are so clearly your goodness. And I want to be reminded that I lack nothing because of you. Um, and like, so often I'm like, well, I don't have this, or I don't have a boyfriend, or I don't have a this friendship, or I don't have this type of family, or I don't have this job. And then it's like, well, I lack nothing because of what Jesus did on the cross. So like nothing else matters. So like give me eyes to see what he is doing around me. And I think you do that so well and the Lord has gifted you in that way. And so I think that's really sweet and just encouraging to like be your friend. And as being your friend, I feel like I'm noticing things like that so much more. Even just like the way you speak to people and speak about Jesus and speak about your body and speak about the way we eat and like little things like that. It's like, oh, we get to treasure these things because it's a gift from the Lord. Like, oh, it matters what I eat, not because I need to look a certain way, but it matters what I eat because this is a gift and my body's a temple. Or it matters how I speak to these people around me because this is about more than me. And you do that so well. And so I think that's an encouragement to me, but I also know now the people who are hearing you for the first time on the podcast, but also the people in your life that get to do life with you. I think that's such a gift and you're an answered prayer for so many people. And I think that's just a really sweet thing the Lord does. So um,
Thanks, Sophie.
you're incredible. And the Lord is so evident in you. Um, so what's next for you as going into your junior year? What is this gonna look like, do you think?
Yes, so more classes, more hard classes, genetics, one of them, that'll be fun. Um, it's my first, yeah, it's my first full semester, like official double major. I've been like technically a double major for the last year, but it's like this is official now. So,
Official.
um, just like getting more classes in. I get to live, like I said, I mentioned earlier, I'm living with two of my freshman year besties, who I met in Bible study and who like live next door to me. And so this year we're in an apartment together with my sister too. And so, we're so excited for that because this last year was like, we had to settle on an apartment because it was like all last minute and everything just crashed down. But we were very blessed to be in the spot we were because there was like no reason that we should have even gotten anything to move into. So, this year is like perfect, ideal. Like, I'm so excited to see how the Lord's going to use that because, all of us just love each other so well and like love the Lord too. And so it's just going to be amazing to, just to get to be in that space every day. But I'm continuing to lead my little small group with crew, my campus ministry. So my girls are going to be sophomores this year. Um, and so that's so sweet. Also, I'm continuing to work for Miracle League, which is this baseball organization for children that have special needs. And I was their intern last fall and then came on their field staff in the spring. And while I was at camp, they actually asked me if I wanted to be their field manager. So, stepping into that role this next semester, which is going to be really fun
So
because my goodness, my heart just like explodes for them. And so to get to just like watch them do what they love and like get to be in an environment that like is for them is like the sweetest thing in the world. And I just get to like be a little fly on the wall and like watch that happen. So I'm continuing to do that too, which is super fun. And in my free time I'm gonna see what margin I can have and where the Lord's gonna lead me through that. So, yeah, I'm super excited for what's ahead.
yeah, that's so sweet. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast and just sharing your story. It's so encouraging and it's really sweet to see you pursue the Lord. So thanks for coming on.
Of course, anytime.
Um, and thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.